because I'm feeling better, I'm going to start recording a show in my girlfriend's apartment. I'm just gonna keep on walking. I'm gonna hold my phone here. I'm just gonna keep on talking. So that's my crucial, right? To hold my phone out, record myself talking to the camera with the selling point being that my arm must be extended in front of me and I can't just hold it down and talk. So anyway, I'm just feeling, believe it or not, more confident with that. And yeah, so I guess I'm going to capitalize on it. If I'm feeling good, I want to keep on doing it. And it's not the same thing. I'm just recording a show and there's nobody around. So I guess maybe, there's people. But yeah, I just feel much better. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I feel much better about it. And maybe it's just a few reps of just facing my fear and realizing that, I don't know, as much as I can say that it's all in my head, it's different for me to really feel that and understand that, even though I'm the one saying it, if that makes any sense. So yes, it's all in my head. And that's a train. Fun fact, I fuck with trains for no reason. I think they're so cool. I can't tell you why. I don't even know anything about them. I don't know what they're called, but they're cool and I like them. So yeah, so because it is now 7:53 p.m., I don't work tomorrow, which is great. So not going to be super stern on my bedtime. I don't know where I was going with that whole thought. Oh yeah, I'm going to record a show now while I'm in the car and then hopefully be done by the time I get home so that way I can just upload it and stuff like that. So we'll see. But you guys just hear that beep? That was my car's ghost touch. I'm not touching anything. Watch, I'll put it right here so you guys can hear it. So I just put it into the audio mode and you're going to start hearing a lot of okay, I almost cut me off. A lot of beep, 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 guaranteed, because it's just an automatic, it just ghost touch. It adjusts all my settings, and sometimes it'll just factory reset everything. And so now I don't even know what my settings are. It just resets them, but I guess it keeps my Bluetooth connections, which is the most important part. And for some reason, it's trying to connect. What's it doing? Okay, there we go. So, anyway, actually what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to, so there's these apartments, these townhomes that Lexi and I are looking to get in the next year. So this year, by the end of this year for sure. So we're thinking October, November. So, and they are right by where she lives. So for example, I just left her house. I'm already in the parking lot, almost. Well, I'm 1 block away from the next one. Look at that exaggeration. I'm already in the parking lot. And they just look great. And I just found out more information about them now and what they're building where. And everything just sounds too good to be true. Not too good to be true, it just sounds so good. So for example, there's a townhomes, and I just learned that there's going to be a large city park, and there's, dude, I hate people give you the wave to go. I would rather people just follow the laws of the road, and if it's your turn to go, you go. I don't really like that courtesy stuff while driving. Not really a fan of that. Just go. That's what I think. But anyway, also every time I say anything remotely close to any sort of complaint, I always second guess myself. I'm like, was I complaining? And then I think, no, I'm literally just stating a fact. I don't like when people do that. I would rather that they just go because they have the right of way, But anyway, so yeah, so I learned that they're all in new development. There's going to be new ones built by the time that we want to even move in together, which is cool. And they're just very nice. There's going to be a big city park. That's just what I learned today, right in front of it. So I could walk to the park, Maybe in the future I have a dog. That's cool. Or maybe I just want to do outdoor workouts or sprints or whatever. I can do that. So that's cool. And then there's going to be a Lifetime Fitness right next to it. So I go walk to the gym. Not walk to any gym, but walk to Lifetime Fitness. Now, for sure, very expensive, but Lifetime Fitness, dude. And I guess it just depends on so many different things, but it just sounds perfect. So it's in a very safe city, very quiet area, very close to shopping and food, very close to the freeway, secluded area, close to my family. It's about the same distance from where Lexi lives now to where she works. It would be more of a drive for me, but for this, what we'd be getting, unreal. And I obviously the goal is for me to quit my job as soon as possible, but at the moment that's not going well. So I just gotta keep on prioritizing what needs to be prioritized and keep on working and executing and just learning from my mistakes. That's all I gotta do. So I'll get there. I'll get there for sure. I'm not worried about it. It's just a matter of when. So we'll get there. But anyway, so day 5 of the blade was today. And I gotta say, it's much easier. This blade is much easier than the previous. And I don't know if it's because, sorry, guys, it's hot as hell in this car, so I gotta roll down my window or something. I'm gonna blast the air. I just don't want it to go into the audio here. But yeah, so Blade 2 is much easier, and I don't know if I feel like it's much easier because I haven't failed it 10 times or 11 times, but I do feel like it's much easier because the things that I need to do, I just do them. I don't really dread doing them. It's just I can get them done, and I think that's a huge key, is that, for example, with the role play, it was, well, there goes a half hour, and it's boring and it sucks or whatever. And then I had to write about it, and then I had to, and it just got really redundant, and I didn't like that. And with the no being late anywhere, that should be something that we all do always, but that added a lot of stress, and I think it's just because I lack time management skills to be places on time. Not that I can't be to places on time, it's that I, for some reason, always think that I have more time than I actually do, and so I don't do anything until it's too late. And then I start stressing, and then I get all antsy and whatever. And then with the waking up, that was great for discipline reasons, excellent for discipline reasons, But, for example, my car's doing the thing. But for example, so tonight, it's 8 o'clock, and if I'm gonna get up tomorrow at 5 a.m. because I don't work, that's fine. I got plenty of time, but I still have to go home. I have to make one more reel to upload, and because I don't have one on the ready tonight, I have to go make one or do something. So wasn't prepared there. And then I have to record the show, upload the show, all that stuff. And then I'd have to role play. I'd have to do all these things. So probably won't be going to bed till 10 or 11. And then the thought of getting not enough sleep to then start my day off, that just added so much mental frustration, I guess. So I don't really know where I'm going with that, but I don't have that now. So if I want to go to bed at 3 a.m., I can do that, and I don't have to get up at 5 a.m. And that's a cool feeling. If I want, I just have more freedom to do other things that are going to move my life forward and not have to wake up early. And now I think waking up early, I think getting places on time, I think those are things that we should all do. But certain things I don't want to force myself to wake up tomorrow at 2 a.m. because it's discipline when I can get a lot of the same benefit of waking up early, but wake up at 6, for example, So I think what I'm trying to say is waking up early is great, and we should all do it. Discipline reasons, more time in your day, all that stuff, 100%. But not so early or not get such little sleep that the day is then much lower. You have a much lower output per unit of time, as Alex Rosie would say, because you're tired, you're exhausted, you can't focus, whatever. days when I sleep and I sleep well, I feel very good. I just very hard to stomach the whole idea that if I wanted to get 8 hours of sleep, I'd have to be in bed 8.5 hours before I would wake up. So if I'm going to wake up at 3:30, then I would have to be in bed at 7 so I can fall asleep by 7:30 to get 8 hours sleep. If I'm trying to be in bed by 7, that means I'm going to have to start getting my night cleaned up, whatever you want to call it, by 6:30 so that I can brush my teeth, I can shower if I need to, I can prep my clothes, I can just clean up, upload the show, all that stuff. So 6:30. So if I'm getting home from the gym and I eat and then I'm ready to work around 4:30 or 5, we have an hour and a half. An hour and a half, dude. And I got to record a show in there, so we'll just say it's 15 minutes and then 15 minutes to write about an upload schedule, whatever. So there's an hour. So I have an hour left. Bro, what am I supposed to do with an hour? I mean, that's plenty of time because that's 5 hours a week. If it was every day during the week, it's 5 hours. Yeah, it's a lot of time. But dude, oh my heavens, that's where for me, I've yet to really figure out how to. Yeah, so I actually just left Lexi's house and we were talking about priorities. So in the spirit of that, I think I just don't know how to prioritize. I think that's exactly what it is. I know what needs to get done, but I don't know what needs to get done first. Necessarily, it seems like the things that I don't want to do are the things that I should do immediately, I don't know. I'm really just brain dumping right now. I'm not really sure about anything. I'm just documenting because that's what the show's about. I think this is episode 525. Anyway, so with the Blade 2 day 5, I did my Crucible today, and I felt good, and that kind of carries over into how I started this specific episode. But I got home from work, or I got home from the gym, realized that I didn't even talk in front of anybody with my phone out all day, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to be at home for the rest of the night, so shoot, I'm going to have to do something. So what I did was, straight out of my garage, I didn't grab anything and left my car door open, left my garage door open. I walked straight out of my front door of my house, held my phone out in front of my face, and I just started talking. And I started telling the story about my lower back and how I think I herniated it. And I walked by 3 cars with people in them. I was talking and doing the stuff. Some lady opened up her garage door, came out, grabbed a package, then walked back inside, whatever. So it was more than one person. But today, I just didn't care. I didn't care. There was no thought in my mind of, oh, shoot, they're going to see this and think blah, blah, blah. I just didn't care. And me being me, I think the reason for that was because I was just talking about a story that is truth and fact, and I know it to be true, and you can't dispute it. It's a story. It's whatever. But if I'm sitting there and I'm trying to do an exercise and I'm trying to say, this is how you do bicep curls. If you turn your pinky and you're going to target more of this head, and if you do this and you turn it outward, you can target more of this head. You put the bar, if you put the weight behind you to some extent, and you stretch the long head of the bicep, you're going to get more contraction on the long head. That develops the bicep peak more because it pushes it up and blah, blah, blah. That makes me feel like I'm some know-it-all pretending to be someone I'm not in front of others to impress them. That's what goes through my head. And when I think about that, I think, okay, well, that's not ego at all then. That's just so shy or insecure or not wanting to be seen as someone who is trying to be smart or something like that. I was actually thinking about this. So I'm reading the book, Ego is the Enemy. A lot of things that I'm learning in the book, I didn't really chalk up to be ego or anything like that. But I'm learning about it, and I'm reading these examples, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I got an ego problem then, 100%. That's a 100% ego, caring about how I'm perceived, generally speaking, by others. And I guess I always viewed it in a light that would be making me look better or bigger or braver, whatever, than I actually am. I don't really know how to explain what I'm thinking, but I thought, Okay, so I was on a team call with Mina and the team, and he called me the Excel wizard because I know my way around Excel fairly well, and I love that stuff. And he, was just making jokes, complimenting, whatever. And then there's another person in the group, and she said, "Hey, since we do have an Excel wizard, is there any way to?" And then she explained what she wanted the Excel sheet to do. And I use Google Sheets, by the way, because it's got everything that I need. It's all online. I don't got to worry about downloading any apps. It's there. I can access from anywhere. It hooks up with Google Drive and Google Docs. I like it. So it can sync with everything. I like it. No problem. Anyway, so she says, since we do have an Excel wizard, can we do XYZ on blah, blah, blah? And I said, yeah, but the problem with this is, and I just went on this thing, and the words that I was saying, I can't remember what I said. I said, I don't know what I said, so I'm going to make some stuff up. I was like, it's highly unlikely, and even if it were likely, it's problematic due to the fact that this formula doesn't calculate based off of this number, and so therefore the average would be skewed due to, and I kept talking like that, and I actually started to censor myself, to hold myself back, because I was like, dude, I sound like a fucking nerd. I sound like I'm trying to be smart. But then I thought, that's just how I talk. I like Excel so much, these are the words I use. This is how I would speak either way. But I think part of me was afraid of being seen or feared of being judged in the light of, I don't know, dude. It's almost like I don't want to seem too smart for my own good. I don't want to seem like I'm some nerd or that I'm smarter than people. I don't want to seem like, it's so interesting, dude, the contradiction of everything that I'm talking about. To be so insecure about what people might think of me by holding my phone up and recording myself talk, being so insecure about that, but then also, I guess, being insecure about people thinking highly of me, if that's what it is, because if I'm so smart and I know so many things about a certain software and I'm saying big words and I'm solving problems and whatever else, I don't want people to see me as that either. So what's my deal, dude? So I've been thinking about that more lately, just with regards to ego, what even is ego, the insecurities I have, and kind of just how I'm navigating them. And that's what I kind of came up with there. So I don't know. It's very weird. Is it the dichotomy? Is that the word? Pretty sure that's the word. The dichotomy. Is it the relationship between two things? I think that's what it is. Okay, let's actually look it up. Oh, my legs are fried. Hold on. Let's look this up real quick. So let's see. I think it's the relationship between two things as they act together. Dichotomy. A division or contrast between two things that are okay. A division or contrast between two things that are or are represented as being opposed or entirely different. Similar synonyms would be division, separation, divorce, split, gulf, chasm, difference, contrast. So there's a problem when the definition of a word confuses you more. The division or contrast between two things that are or are represented as being opposed or entirely different. So I think that would be the incorrect usage of the word, because they are one and the same, I would say, because they both deal with the perception from others. All right, fuck it, we're doing my laundry in this episode. Also, just got a text from Lexi that she did a cold shower. I just want to shout her out on the show, because that's some real man shit right there. That's some tough, hardcore mental toughness right there, because cold showers suck ass. There's nothing good about them whatsoever. I think they're harder than an ice bath. And yeah, so shout out to Lexi, doing some hard shit. She's doing a blade cycle with me, and it's very cool. So we're able to kind of do this together, and I like that a lot. But anyway, I just want to shout her out because she's a baller. She also ran 6 miles to me in my direction. She ran from her house to my house, pretty much. and I went and picked her up. It was kind of down the road, but yeah, she just said, I'm just going to run a casual 7 miles today. I'll just be over here. And I just think that's crazy. So shout out to Lexi. But anyway, so yeah, I don't want to say it's like a fear of judgment. It's just that labels that I just don't want to have on me, you know? I don't really know. Honestly, I'm kind of done talking about that, so I'll segue into something else. So this is very, very random, but I've been having thoughts about feeling like my branding for Allegiant Excellence doesn't really get the fitness appeal. So what I mean is every gym is blank fitness. Every coaching program is something fitness or something fit or something transformation or something health. I have none of those words in my brand because it's been Allegiant Excellence. I ran with Allegiant Fit for a while, but I was like, no, dude, Allegiant Excellence, that's what I want to talk about. That's what I'm about. That's me. That's what I believe in. But after more thought, dude, I think I really just have to roll with Allegiant Fit because it has the word fit in it. And I think if I change the branding ever so slightly, let's get this going. I think if I changed, that doesn't sound good. Probably shouldn't be making that noise. What's going on? Is that normal? Oh, there we go. I don't know. But yeah, so it was just Allegiant Excellence, meaning the loyalty or the pledge to adhere to the standards of excellence in all that you do, in the behavior, in the standards, and everything like that. So that's what that means, and that's literally my LLC, you know, Allegiant Excellence LLC. And so I think that's, I guess, what I'll operate under, because that's something I believe in. I like that. So it kind of sucks that maybe they're different, but that's what the podcast is called, Allegiant Excellence. But yeah, I don't know. We have Allegiant Fit, and again, very random, but I was able to rework the logo ever so slightly and then just run a different idea. And all I did was change the thickness of the font and the spacing and added Fit in bolder font than what Allegiant is. So we'll say that Allegiant is thin font, and we'll say that Fit is bold font. There's no space because you don't need it if one is clearly more defined than the other. So it's all one line, so it adds the symmetry, which looks nice. And then I applied a gradient to Fit with a dark blue, and I think it looks very good. And it's one of those things for me where I didn't have to try to edit it a whole bunch of times and change the colors and edit this, do all that. I made it in maybe 3 minutes because I've been thinking about what I wanted it to look like for a while now, and I just went in there and changed it, and so I did, and it was perfect. And so therefore I exported the file that was a darker file or a dark background. I just had a heart attack. I have a couple jackets on my stairwell here. Thought I was a fucking human being. I gotta go change my pants. Anyway, so I got a black background with white words and then the blue Fit, and then the fuck's going on? And then the same thing but the opposite for the white backdrop. So we have black word and then the blue Fit. So anyway, very random, but I looked at that and I thought, yeah, dude, this is a lot more appealing to what fitness is. So if I post this, people will know that fit is fitness, coaching, health, wellness, exercise. Whereas Allegiant Excellence, just a white word, 2 white words, I think it would be much more difficult trying to decipher what the hell that's about unless you saw more context. I mean, just Allegiant Excellence, I would think that that's some kind of realtor group or something like that, or some kind of gaming group or some kind of chess club, you know, Allegiant Excellence, Grandmasters of Chess. I don't know. I wouldn't think, oh yeah, get ripped in 12 weeks. I wouldn't think fitness. I wouldn't think coaching, and I would think maybe men's transformation as far as mental goes, but that's because I'm
I guess I'm just very aware of that. So I think what I'll do from here on out is associate everything I do with Allegiant Fit. And we'll go there. Something so small, but it's just something that I always think about. I'm like, dude, is this brand even, But then I think about the whole thing of, you make the thing rather than the name making you the thing. And what I mean by that is, I've talked about this in the show before, but there is a I think it's, what's the valuation of Apple? It's like 4 trillion or something like that. 3 trillion. I don't remember what it is. Maybe I'm overshooting. I know it's a T though. But anyway, they are worth, we'll just say $3 trillion. I don't know. The valuation, the 10-year value, whatever it is. $3 trillion. They don't sell fruit. They don't sell food. They don't sell produce. They're not in grocery stores. Nothing. They sell technology. They sell phones. They sell iPads. They sell earbuds, Bluetooth stuff, all this stuff. They're called Apple. Apple? So they made that name what it is. They didn't decide when they were making computers, we can't be named Apple. It's got to be named, motherboard or something like that. We got to be named keyboard. You can't just, so that's the whole idea. So the name doesn't make you the thing. You make the name the thing. So trying to keep that in mind. But then I'm like, dude, nah. I mean, I get it, but also I got to have fit in the name. I don't know. So I guess long-term vision, what I think about is, how long am I going to be involved in this coaching space? And truthfully, it would be long enough to get a very high income consistently, like what Mina is doing, and then slowly hire out more people so that I can almost remove myself from that and then venture into things like starting a pre-workout, for example, because that was the first 150 episodes of this whole podcast. I actually started doing coaching again because I knew that I could make more money and get the capital to make the pre-workout product. But now, as of today, right now, I don't remember the last time I thought about making a pre-workout. I just want to segue into something else. And maybe I think that now because I'm struggling so hard. So I'm not going to allow myself to opt out of this journey or this path until I at least make $10,000 a month. At least. Because it would eat me alive knowing that I really just gave up and I didn't put in the most amount of effort that I possibly could. If I'm 80 years old and I just pretend I don't make it, be like, oh dude, the whole coaching thing, I just couldn't do it, huh? So definitely don't want that to happen to me at all. No, I do not want that. So in order to make sure that doesn't happen, is I have to continue working my ass off now and going from there. So anyway, maybe if you're listening now when it's uploaded, you'll see the new logos and stuff like that. I'll work on getting those out, but yeah. So the other thing is, I'm going to say this, I'm going to end the show. So yesterday, I felt like I was just working on all the wrong stuff. And I think that's true. I think my priorities, my focus are just in the wrong spot as far as what to work on for business. So what I did today, what I did yesterday was I messaged one of the clients that signed up. I said, hey dude, noticed you missed a check-in. Also, just want to make sure that you're getting, the best experience possible. Is there anything that sucks? Is there anything that you can improve on? How are you doing? Because what I wanted was for this person to just give me a whole bunch of stuff. So in my mind, I wanted them to be like, yo, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Can we improve this? Can we improve this? Can we improve this? This is great, this is great, this is great. And this person actually did that. They gave me 5 different things, a couple of things that sucked, things that could be improved, something that's great, some struggles. And I thought, okay, anything that these clients of mine say, and I've got 2, I'm going to over-deliver. I'm going to make sure that they are heard, valued, seen, and acknowledged. and that whatever issues they have, I fix stupid fast, and any resources that they might need, I'm just going to create them from scratch, and however I do that. And even if it's just for them, I'll have that, and I can put it in, the resource folder for everybody else in the future. And so everything made for these clients now is just an investment into the future, but I'm also, almost over delivering on my service, because anything that they want or need or whatever, I want to make and create. So that's what I did today. Client said, hey, can we change the names of this? And I did that. I was like, boom, changed them immediately. And they said, hey, so I was doing this workout at the gym. I didn't know which other exercise to do. So I didn't do it at all. So I had to explain, hey, we got to at least hit something. It's better than skipping one entirely. Maybe they did. I don't know. They didn't specify. But they did say that an exercise substitution or an alternative list or something like that for each exercise could be helpful. And so I did that. I made a whole sheet, a whole guide with alternative exercises based on the main exercise that they would be doing. So what I did was I took screenshots of the workouts, and because all the workouts, they had the main lifts. And I was like, okay. And I put it into ChatGPT. And this is just for speed, because it was a lot. It was almost, I think it was 11 pages worth of text. And I know this stuff very well, and I feel much more confident using ChatGPT when I know the stuff already. I'm just looking for the speed and the formatting. So that's what I did. Took a screenshot, and it had like bench press. And I told it to give me the most similar alternatives to bench press. And so, for example, what I would do, here's the kind of the hierarchy. So if you can't do bench press for whatever reason, then go to the Smith machine, do bench press there. If you can't do it there, then grab dumbbells and do it there. If you can't do any of those, then try to do an incline or a decline variation of those. It's close enough. And if you can't do any of those, then do a chest press machine. If you can't do that, do an incline chest press machine. If you can't do that, do decline. If you can't do any of that, then we'll do push-ups. If you can't do any of that, then, I don't know what you're trying to do bench press for. So that's how I would have written it out. But because ChatGPT is much faster, I said, give me the hierarchy of exercise alternatives starting from bench press. And if I can't do bench press, then do this. And if I can't do that, then do this. But also keep in mind that for each list item down the list, I guess, that would also could be a starting point, and that I could go, left or right. So think of a sentence that says bench press, Smith machine bench press, dumbbell chest press, machine press, whatever. And so the idea is that you look at this list and you say, okay, I'm doing dumbbell bench press. What if I can't do that? And then you look on the line, and you could either go to the left and it'd be much more demanding, more physical, whatever you want to call it, and you could do that. Or you could go to the right and do things that are maybe easier. It's a different alternative. That's the whole idea. And so I was able to format that in probably two hours, about an hour and a half. And that's kind of when I put the new logo. I don't even want to call it a logo. It's just a word, Allegiant Fit, and just blue fit. Put that in a Word doc, made a little table of contents so they can click on the muscle group that they want to see the exercise substitutions. Click on that, it takes you to the page, exported it as a PDF, put that into the vault in the client section of the app so that everybody who signs up now has access to that. But I made it for this client of mine. And that felt very good, like I was working on the right thing for the right reason at the right time. I just felt like that was one of the best things I could have done, because that client now has extra attention. They have a whole PDF made for them. Now it's for everybody. And I just think that's a good use of time. I think that's, even though I'm not making sales and I'm not getting more people into the program, I think long term that's going to prove that I know what I'm talking about. I want this person to see the results. I want this person to kill it. I want them to get everything. And what better way to prove that? And then so that way, I get a testimonial. Hopefully I get a testimonial out of it later. I get a review. I get word of mouth. I get, somebody just talking about weight loss or something to this client of mine. Then they can say, oh yeah, so, Bryson, he did this, XYZ. He's killing it. He helped me gain this much weight or lose this much. He helped me gain this much muscle, lose this much weight, whatever. And maybe that translates into a sale. So I don't know. But I did feel like that was time spent well. The other thing that I did was I'm working on this nutrition ladder to, I don't want to say gamify it, but kind of. So when a client joins the program, my goal is to meet them where they're at and then bring them along to the most optimal, most productive side that they can be. So whether they join the program and they can only hit the gym 3 times a week and they have no idea how to track macros, I'm gonna meet them there or where they're at right there. And we're gonna work on mastering where they're at right now and then moving on to the next step and then the next step, and then step after step after step, then they're gonna be where I'm at. Now, I don't mean like in the journey, but I mean like I'm on the left, they're on the right, whatever. We'll meet in the middle, we'll bring you to the left. I should have said it right because I'm no leftist. Fuck all that. But hopefully somebody laughed at that. But anyway, so I was working on this thing I call the nutrition ladder, and I'm like, okay, if somebody is brand new, how best could I get them to start building habits and focusing on the right things? And I thought, okay, disregarding everything, I would just want them to get enough calories, period. I don't care if it's all burritos or if it's all McDonald's, if it's all ice cream, if it's all broccoli, I don't care. The focus for level 1 is just get your calories in. What the hell is that? I just felt a breeze on my left hand, and it is nowhere near a vent. It's nowhere near. Weird. So I thought, okay, that would be level 1. Just if your calorie goal is 2,000 calories, just get that within, 250 calories above or below. So I don't even care how you get it. Just get it and stay there. That's level 1. Level 2 might be, okay, we're going to get our calories in and also at least half of our protein goal. So if my protein goal is 200, then your goal for level 2 is to just get your calories in. I don't care how. I don't care what you eat. I don't care what you don't eat. And at least 100 grams of protein. That's it. That's level 2. So if that's where they're at, I'm going to meet them at level 2. For level 3, that might be all their calories and their protein goal entirely. So that's going to be hard for some people because, if you've never tried to get in a lot of protein, you might hear 200 grams of protein and think, oh shit, that's crazy. But I can tell you how I would do it in 4 meals right now. You'd have 4 strips of bacon, you'd have 3 eggs, 3 egg whites, that's meal 1, it's about 50 grams of protein. Meal 2, you would have 8 ounces of lean meat plus plus rice, that's about 50. Meal 3, you could do some sort of variation of meal 2, you could do like ground beef, you could add in a sweet potato, something like that. That's probably closer to 40, but it's fine. And then, meal 4, you could do a similar thing. You could have some kind of pasta with some fish if you wanted to, or some kind of, you don't even have to have meat. You could make a protein mac like I did. And that's actually even more. And so let's just say it's 60. So right there's 200 grams of protein. Easy. We're not even talking about snacks. We're not even talking about protein shakes, It's just so simple. It's just people I think, overthink it. But anyway, going from not tracking to not worrying about what you're eating to whatever to trying to get your protein in, that's level 3, and I would think that would be tricky. And then it goes on. I could go on each level. I actually got it memorized right now, but it goes all the way down, and I think it's got 11 levels right now, or 10 levels right now. And rather than trying to cap myself off at level 10, I'm just going to keep on going until I can't think of something else that a person can focus on. And so level 10, for example, is getting in all your protein, carbs, all your fats, all your calories. So all your calories within 100 grams or with 100 calories above or below your goal. So if your goal is 3,000 calories, then you need to get at least 2,900 to 3,100. And with your protein, carbs, and fats, you're going to get those targets within 5 grams of one another. And as I say this out loud, I realize I need to change something because the carbs and fats, you can alternate them. It doesn't, however you want to do it, whatever your goal is. So actually, I can change that up now I think about it. But that within 5 grams above or below the target, and then fiber, at least 30 grams per day, and then getting at least a half gallon of water per day. So that'd be level 10. And I don't think that that's the best you can be. I mean, there's so many different factors you can put in place. So we're talking, meal timing, meal frequency, how many meals, how much protein per meal, your consistency with breakfast, your consistency with dinner, not eating at a certain time, things like that. Mastering, maybe we go into different levels, and I don't know. So, because in my head, it's like, it's got to be 10 levels, because 10 levels. You're level 1, 2, 3, and you get to level 10. That's the highest. It's so cool. Blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, nah, dude, I can't cap it just because it's 10. Because if numbers are man-made, we could have had 11 numbers, but what we would call 10, when you think about it, 0 through 10, that's 11 numbers. So it could be 0th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But what we know is 11, as 11 would be the new 10. So we think that we have 10 fingers, and maybe we actually have 9 because there's a new number that we invent. But if you add in one new number, everything's fucked. So why is it 10? Could have been 5. We chose 10 though. So yeah, numbers are man-made, time is man-made, all that shit's just created it's a form of measurement, Numbers are literally to measure, But anyway, not the point of this episode at all. But yeah. So I'm just working on creating this nutrition ladder so that when I'm trying to help a client out, I can say, hey, what level are you at right now? So I know where our focus is and what we need to focus on. I said the same thing twice. Great. So that way, that client knows where they're at and they know what they need to do to get to the next level, and it's not overwhelming, because purposefully I structured this entire ladder so that there's one little change per level. It's not like level 1, track your calories. Level 2, protein, carbs, and fats, and fiber. Level 3, gallon of water, all this stuff. Don't cheat ever. I'm not going to do that. Level 1 is calories. Level 2 is calories and half your protein. Level 3, calories, all your protein. Level 4 is calories, protein, focusing on your fats. And it keeps on going. And then you add in carbs. Then you add in the tightening up of these things. Then you add in, what is it? Yeah, then you add in another tightening of it. So we have a within 100, within 10, and within 10, within 10. Then we have the fiber goal. Then we have another fiber goal from 15, then from 15 to 30. And then from there, you add in a half gallon of water. That's how it's progressed so far. And it's just one thing, And so again, the idea is client joins the program. I say, hey, check this PDF out. What level are you at right now? And then they can tell me. And then I say, cool. Our goal over this next month or this next week or this next however long is to get to level 8. After that, we want to focus on getting to level 9. So we're just going to focus on 8 right now. We'll get there, but that's where our focus needs to be, because this is how you make changes long term. Blah 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 blah. So that's the whole idea. So anyway, I think I'm done talking now. I'm very tired, and I'll probably record this show and then. Oh my Lord! I still have to. God damn it. Still got to make a reel and post on social media, and then I still got to talk to the camera again. And that's it. I got to make a reel right now. Bummer. Okay. Well, that's my night. That's what I got going on. So appreciate you guys listening. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
That's it for today. If you got some sort of value or you were entertained, please consider leaving a rating on the platform that you're listening on. It helps a ton. If you are looking for a more polished version of this show, you can check out the Allegiant Excellence podcast, where I go deep into mindset, discipline, fitness, and personal development as a man. And don't forget to check out the links below and read the description. There are sometimes things written there that didn't quite make it on the episode. So thank you so much for your ongoing support and a guy that has massive ambition but nothing to show for it quite yet. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen and support. I'll see you tomorrow.